everybody. My name's Craig.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is Get Dunked On, the podcast.
The podcast has without Berg.
Oh.
Berg's still going through his stuff with his move and everything, so we're still on tentative schedule with him. But we three are still going to collect ourselves, and we're still going to talk about the most inane things, like we always do for week in and week out. I'm always happy to do that.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, so not too long ago, I would say 6 months ago, I was playing drums on Rock Band 3. I pulled out my drums from my storage shed. I brought them all out. I set them all up, and I've got like the really high quality ones. Brian, you've seen them before. I think Michelle, you've technically seen them as well.
Yes.
Like I got like the ones that are. It's a electronic kit that I could play is actual drums, but I can also put a module on there and make it into a 360 Rock Band drum controller. And so, I don't know, 6 months ago, some odd, I got it out and I was playing and I was having fun with it for like 2-3 days. And then I put it back because it takes up a lot of room. And my living room, Brian, as you can attest, doesn't exactly have like space.
Set? It takes up room?
And my living room doesn't exactly have the amount of space it needs to just kind of hang out the whole time. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take it back down. It's just too much room right now. And so I take it back down. I put it all back out in the storage shed. A little bit later, I find the controller portion, like the brains of the whole thing. I find it like in the living room still. I'm like, crap. But it was raining out or something was going on, and I didn't really feel like going out into the shed and messing with it. So I was like, I'll be good. I don't need to do that. So I just moved on and kept it in the living room somewhere, moved on. And then not too long ago, they announced that they had this adapter available for Rock Band 4 where I could use those drums on Rock Band 4 because you couldn't use any 360 controllers on the Xbox One. So they came out with an adapter that allowed you to use that, and that allowed me to use the Ion drums. I was like, yes!
Yeah,
finally,
I remember that.
I get to have these awesome drums for this, and I can play on it again because I haven't been able to play the drums on Rock Band 4. If I wanted the drums, that's why I brought out the 360 so I could play drums on that. But I want to play Rock Band 4 with the drums. That'll be a lot of fun. And so they release. I just checking to see when they're going to release it one day, and I see that it's like, hey, it's available to buy this adapter. I was like, yeah, dude, sweet. I'm on the website, like the actual manufacturer of the thing. I'm not like on Amazon or anything. I'm on the manufacturer's website. I was like, I'll buy it from them. Like that seems like the nicer thing to do is to buy it from that company so they know like, hey, I went to your site and I bought something from you. I thought it's just one of those stupid things. If I have the ability to do that and it doesn't cost me any more money, I'd rather buy it from them than buy it from like through Amazon or something.
Kind of a company loyalty or like showing them like, you know, and plus you get to say later on like, I got the official one.
Yeah, I've worked in a retail space where we sold things through Amazon and we sold them through our website, and you got more commissions but you got better. It was a better feeling. It wasn't more commissions. You got a better feeling when they bought it through the website and not through Amazon. And if you were the person, if they put like in a reference code saying like, hey, this person, you know, walked me through this, you'd get a better commission. But even then, like everybody was like, no, drive them towards the website. It's better. Like that's better for the brand that they're going to our website. It's all better to do that. We don't have to mess with anything else. They're dealing directly with us. It's always better to do that. So that's what I was thinking.
Brand.
And so that's what I was thinking was, hey, I'm going to help these guys out. I'm going to go through their website. I'm going to buy it. I'm just trying to be, I know what helped my company beforehand. So I'll try and do the same thing for them. I click order, and it wouldn't let me create a new. When I created a new user or a new membership or whatever, I can't think of the account. I created it, and I never got the email saying like you fully created it, like a welcome or please click this to verify your account or anything like that. But I went on because it let me go through afterwards. It goes, yep, this is you. Cool. Thumbs up. Oh, you bought the thing now. Cool. Here it is. And so I was like, sweet, you know, and it was at the end of a day, I remember. So I was like, awesome. I turned it off, and Sarah and I went upstairs and we're watching TV for the rest of the night. All good. About a week and a half later, I'm thinking, I don't have this thing in yet. Like, what happened? Maybe it's because it wasn't through Amazon that they're going to take a little bit longer because it was still free shipping. I'm like, oh, whatever. It's not a big deal to me. I'm not that much of in a hurry. And so I go online to check, and that's when I realized I didn't get any of these emails. I didn't get an email verifying the shipping, verifying that I bought anything, verifying that I signed up, and I go to the website again, and I try and log into my account that I know I just made with the username and password that I knew I did for it, and it doesn't let me in. It says there's no, the password's wrong. I was like, okay, well, let's do forgot password.
They Gandalf you, and they say, I have no memory of this place.
And so I was like, well, I'll click the forgot password thing, and I'll just get my password reset, because it must have been one of those ones that was like, you need 17 letters, 4 numbers, 3 symbols, and you have to type in the word Batman at the very end of it. Like, it had to have been something goofy, and I just didn't think about it. I could do it, and it did that. It goes, when I put the email in, like, hey, here's my email, send me my reset password, and it gave me, I have no memory of this. It's like, no, are you serious? And I went through and I looked, and I found on their Twitter that an hour after they launched that, so many people jumped on, it crashed their server that took in orders and took in account registration.
What?
So I happened, and after that, after the hour, it crashed the website because so many people were trying to get it. So I happened to jump in randomly, just trying to check when the thing was being released, and jump in right in that first hour, decent enough, far enough in to where I didn't get the registration or the order to go through, but not late enough to where I was like given a 404, just in that nice little window where it goes, everything's working. Not really. Like,
everything was on fire, and yet it didn't know it was on fire yet. It was like it's like when you break. It's like when you break your leg, and you're like, oh, I think I can walk this one. Oh god! And the wave comes afterward. That's what that was.
Basically. And so I went on. I was like, well, fuck. And I go on. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I'll just order another one. No big deal. I click on it. It's like, this is not going to be available for 3 months. I was like, what? No. I know I said I didn't have I didn't need to rush this, but I'd like to have it. So I it's like, shit. And then I went to Amazon, and it said the same thing. Like, hey, this isn't in. But I know with Amazon, you can put an order in and say, like, just ship it to me whenever you get it in. I don't care. So you basically just put on a wait list for whenever it comes in. I was like, I'll do that. And so it'll come in. And it tells me, this isn't going to be available till, this is back in November. It goes, it's not going to be available till mid-January, basically.
But it is the hardest part. You know that, right?
What?
The waiting.
Oh God!
I'm sorry. I really saw the opportunity.
I hate you so much. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just wait it out. No big deal. Not a big deal. If I have to wait, I have to wait. I'm just gonna put it in here so I don't have to wait any longer. I'll just put it on Amazon so it ships when it's ready. So the next day, I'm clicking around working. I get an email in, and it goes, "Hey, your adapter shipped." I was like, what? Like, yeah, it shipped. So all of a sudden, now this thing ships. So all of a sudden, I'm back into like, holy crap, I'm really excited, right? Everything switched around. And then that weekend, we went and visited Sarah's family in Atlanta. We went there for like a whole little weekend, right? No, this is right before the honeymoon. That's what it was. So we went to we stayed at her brother's house, and then we went down to the honeymoon, and then we came back. So I've had this little adapter sitting for a week and a half on my desk. And so a couple days, I didn't even get a chance when I got back. I didn't get a chance to use it until the following Saturday. So, I got it in on a Friday. I got it in that morning on a Friday, and then we left for our honeymoon that night. And then we got back Sunday, and then Sunday through, this is Thanksgiving week, Sunday through Friday, we were just like book solid. I didn't have time to play games that much. Then it's Thanksgiving, and then we're doing family stuff and whatnot. So it's Saturday morning, Sarah and I go out to my niece's basketball game. She went off to hang out with my mom and sister afterwards, and I came straight back home, and I went, this is my time. I'm going to set this up. She's going to be gone for hours. I'm going to play some Rock Band. I'm so pumped up. I grab all my Rock Band stuff. I bring it back out. I set it all up. I'm like, all right, where did I put that controller so all of this works? Shit. So now it's been like
nice.
A 3-week process here, and I lost the controller portion of the drums. It is now in January. I still haven't found them. It turned into like the biggest roller coaster of emotions because I was so, Brian, you can tell everyone how much I played Rock Band and the drums and Guitar Hero. Like, I love those games.
No, yeah. I think you saw a Cool Kid play it once, and you were like, "Man, I want to try that someday." And then this event happened. You definitely didn't play it like every single day, and played it on super expert God mode, and was like stupid good at it.
So now I'm looking through for my birthday and trying to figure out if I want to buy the Rock Band 4 like drums that come with the game, or if I want to try and find on eBay the little controller. And just
how old is Rock Band 4?
It just came out last year.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that they made new ones.
They made one new one, and they're going to do like the expansion with this instead of making like Rock Band 5 and Rock Band 6. They're going through and just making Rock Band 4, and then every 2 years they're going to put out like an expansion with a bunch of new stuff for like $20 instead of
AKA new songs.
It's
right?
going to be new songs, but like they're adding in these other modes. Like there's a thing called brutal mode where the better you do, the less of the notes you see. Like, it basically clears right above it. It's not like it just takes them completely out. You get to see them for shorter and shorter amounts of time.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, like, they just keep adding stuff like that, or adding things to the online play, or adding different things to the career modes and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's like my depressing way to start this, is that I've been looking forward for so long, and I still can't do this. And now I'm having to potentially blow a birthday present on one of these because they're so expensive. I'm just be like, well.
I like how you put that though. You're like, I have to blow a birthday present on this, because you know that's exactly what this is that it's a birthday present that you're like, look, I could have asked for something else that I actually like either needed or something, maybe like in another like I'm gonna call it a vanity item, something like that. But now you're like, I just literally need a thing that I already had that I can't find, and it's more embarrassing that I have.
And the thing is, if I get the new controller, like the thing that takes over for the Ion drums that I already have, in 2 weeks, I'm going to clear out the one box I didn't look in and go, are you fucking serious? That's exactly what's going to happen, even though I have torn this house. I went into the attic, into all of our storage in the attic, and was like just ripping things out, looking to see if we somehow just nothing. I cannot find this thing.
I did that actually at work earlier. It actually was just today. It was one of those deals where I was looking for something in the system, in the computer system we were using, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't find this thing. Oh my God, I can't find this thing. Like, all this time passes, and then I find it. And then for a second, I caught myself. I was about to say, oh, it's in the last place you look. I'm like, of course it's in the last place you look, because that's after you find it, it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah. I feel the pain though, my friend.
That pain's always there. But what's a bigger pain than that is moving. Moving in general is such a big pain. Now, I know it's been a long time since it's not been a long time since you've moved, Brian, because you've moved back and forth here and there, but you haven't done like the long distance to a whole new place all that often. I think you've had some different places for work, right?
Oh God, yeah. It's been I spent a lot of years on the road. And I guess truthfully, I would count them as places that I've like lived. I think that's fair to say personally, because once it hits like a certain amount of time, I feel like you've lived in a location, right? Like if you go there for a few days, it's a visit. If you're there for a couple weeks, you're there for business. If you're there for 3 to 4 months and you're like, you're living there basically, you know the grocery stores, where to go, you have friends you go to the bar with, kind of thing. Like, I consider that living there, right?
Right, that makes sense.
So in that case, because of my work, I lived in a lot of places. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know you, and I know you travel a lot with your work too. But I mean, you actually had a huge move when you moved down south.
Yeah, but before, Michelle was the first one of us that's
true.
The one that moved away out of the four of us, even though Burke's not here because he's moving still. Michelle, what was that like? Your initial big move out of the state?
It was pretty exciting and terrifying at the same time, especially in my case, because like I know some people move because of like family and stuff, and I was coming to a place. I don't have any family here in New Jersey. I had exactly one friend here, which is who I was moving in with, and I was transferring my job. So, I mean, at least I had a job, but I was still like, it's a new store, a whole new team. Like, it was pretty terrifying, but I was also really excited.
Now, when you say, for your work, you had a whole new team. I'm with you. I understand. I'm sorry. For a second there, I was like, a whole new team. And I'm like, what? She's doing a secret podcast like without us. Like, what the heck?
And what about like the actual move itself? How did you handle that one?
So, I initially, like, because I was moving into a room in my friend's house, so I didn't have a lot of space, so I spent a significant amount of time like putting a lot of my stuff into storage and then packing the rest into the van that I was driving at the time, just the stuff I needed. And my mom actually like drove out with me with the van and helped me like get set up, and then she flew back home.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, like moving or having people to help you move, I should say, it's massive. Like I know as human beings, it's like one of those things we all kind of just when someone asks you to help to move, but like being able to play that card later on in life and have someone else help you move, totally worth it, people.
Yep. And I used up my favors, and I was like, well, I'm moving out of here, not going to be in a state to help any of you move anymore. I was really lucky with, at the time, I lived across the street from Mike, one of our co-hosts that we've had. He was on the last 2 episodes. I lived across the street from him, and I also lived in the same apartment as Brian. And so I was like, hey guys, what you doing this weekend?
Your moving process was hilarious to me, as far as like how you were planning it or whatever. Okay. Like your dad, I remember your dad walking in when on the day of the move, and you and I like we had moved like 3 boxes and then like took a break to play Halo, and he gave like this look that like I still remember very clearly, this look of like, you fuck. And I was like, I feel like really guilty for playing this game now.
Well, that's the thing, we had all day to move it. We literally had the entire day to move my stuff down into the truck.
But we used the whole day.
We definitely did. And we stopped. We were like, fuck this, dude. We've moved 4 boxes. Let's like hang out for a minute. This is my last day here. You know, I'm moving in I'm driving away tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. So like, why not we'll move the boxes. We'll play some Halo in between. We literally have 12 hours to move everything in this apartment that I own into this truck. Like, we've got time. We've got enough time to do this. We don't have to like get it into the truck, drive to a spot, because it was going to be, it's a 10-hour drive when you're not dealing with a massive moving truck.
Yeah, the U-Haul.
So it's like, I've got this for 5 days. Like, there's no point in us being, holy crap, we've got to get moving on this. We'll wake up, we'll move some boxes, we'll stop, we'll eat breakfast, we'll play some Halo, we'll go back to moving a couple more boxes.
Your dad was not having that though. like he comes over, he's like, all right, so let's see what you guys have done. Let's go from there. And the look he gave, I was just like, I better haul something heavy. I gotta haul something heavy now.
He's a card. He just got out of his he retired 3 times already, and he's back to his 4th time getting back out of retirement. Yeah, that's just him. That's the type of personality he is. He's can't have a dull moment. Gotta get back and stuff like that.
Wow, I didn't even realize that he had gone back to work again.
So with your what are the longest stints that you've had away from Michigan, Brian?
Well, all right. So the first time I ever went away from Michigan was Arkansas, and I lived there for around 7 months, something like that. I had gone down there because I had gotten out of college. Let me take you guys on a tale. I got out of college, and I basically I graduated, late spring, early summer, whatever. And I had 0 prospects. So basically I had nothing happening in my life. Like, as far as like, I was trying to find work. I didn't know doing what. I was just doing general searches, being like, what do people do after college? Basically. And I ended up working at an Express for a while. And while I did that for a little bit, and then basically after the holiday season they're like, okay, you were holiday work, so see you later. And then I didn't have any work until that following spring. And so basically I'm going on almost a full year out of college and had maybe 3 months of like post-college work. I had done stuff before and during college, but this was like my post-college life where I thought I was going to be being like living the life of a yuppie, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be like super, like somehow I thought that post-college was going to magically make money appear, and that's not how life works, but tell that to young me. Anyway, the point is that I found out that I got a job opportunity in Arkansas, because that's where my parents were living at the time, and through my dad's company, or the company my dad was working for there, they had an opening for like a I'm going to call it an HR intern, but it's something like that. Anyway, I went down there, and that was weird. Leaving Michigan, leaving like friends and other family that was here to go down south was one of the weirdest experiences. I can't say I didn't like it, but I can't say I did. It was just one of those things where like it was a straight up Bilbo Baggins going on an adventure. You know what I mean? And then over the course of the next few years, I went from there. I went to lived in New York for a while. I lived in South Carolina. I lived in Tulsa. I took trips for work to North Carolina. And then all over Michigan, and every place was different. Every place was unique. Every place was fun. Had its ups and downs, but I don't know. It's I don't know. I want to call it a life journey sort of thing. So
I was just wondering, maybe not so much in your case, since yours were only like semi-permanent moves, but this probably applies more in Craig's case than mine. When you guys like did move to these new places, I know you said in Arkansas your parents were there, and Craig did have his family in Tennessee, but like, did you guys ever feel like, I don't know how to set up a life in this new place? I
had all those people around me, and I still had that feeling. So I can only imagine what it was like for you, where you kind of knew, one, maybe a couple people out there, and really none of them were family. It was still, even just coming down here, because I moved down here by myself initially, down to Tennessee, and along with the move was starting a brand new job like the Monday that I got in. So we got in on a Saturday, kind of unpacked, and it was Monday. I was up and running, working, and I was working from home. And so that really kind of compacted a lot of that stuff, because I'm trying to, do all this stuff. And luckily with the apartments that we had before and whatnot, I had a great idea of how, paying all the different bills and all the different things. So it wasn't like I went into it from, moving out from, my parents' place or something, or a place I didn't have to worry about those things, and then completely into a system where I was the only one. But it was, I had the issue of like, okay, what about banks? Like, what do I do about the bank situation? Because I was originally a Chase Bank member. When I was in Michigan, there's no Chase Banks down here, so I had to figure out what I was doing about that.
None of the banks out here are the same at all.
No, everywhere. I hate how regional banks are. It kind of makes me mad. You need those mega conglomerate banks that take over the world everywhere to make my life convenient.
What is it? Global. Oh, God dang it! What's the How I Met Your Mother? Global Bank, Glover. What is it?
Goliath National Bank.
That's a Goliath National Bank.
Basically, that's what I needed, but truthfully, the biggest thing for me was how quickly you figure out because I didn't hang out with my family all that much. I would go see them, once every couple weeks or whatever. And a lot of it was literally just me sitting here because I don't know anybody. I have no friends down here. Like, as much as I have family, I don't have friends. And there's not a lot that me and my family have in common for hanging out and doing. And I moved in the middle of winter, and so there's no baseball. So Dad and I really don't have a lot to talk about on that one. So it's like, there wasn't anything. Football had already been done with. The only thing going was basketball and hockey. And he hadn't been watching much hockey. And it was really lonely for the first 3 months. I remember calling my buddy Tyler. He moved out to Phoenix and moved in with his cousin. And he just completely did his own thing out there. Knew nobody besides her. And I called him. I was like, how'd you deal with this, man? Like, because I work from home. I don't see other people ever. I literally don't see other people. I'll go for 6 days and won't see another human soul unless if the Amazon guy drops the box off while I'm looking at while I'm happen to be looking at the door.
And he quit coming in for cookies because you're like, oh, please come in.
But I remember the first part of that being like, wow, this is like kind of lonely just being here. And I got my reprieve from hanging out online with people, but there'd be like one day where it's like, oh, Brian's got other things going on for a couple days, Burke's got other things going on for a couple days, and that's how Burke and I really started talking a ton is when I moved, because he and I just would sit and talk all day because we were both like working at home, and we'd talk over our Mumble server, we'd talk IM over Skype and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's the question you were asking, but that's how I answered it, Michelle.
No, that's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you were dealing with like that. I don't know anyone. I don't know what to do with myself. Life.
Yeah. See, in my experience was very different in that regard, because like I'm not going to count Arkansas because my family was there, but like the first time I was in another state and in a hotel, because that's where I always stayed, was in these hotel rooms.
And yours is even like unique because like you knew you were going to be there for a while, but you also knew like, hey, I'm going to be leaving.
Exactly. So it was kind of an evolution. The start of it was I was scared to death. I was so scared to death because I was in a foreign state, which it doesn't sound like it would be a big deal, but it is a big deal when you're going from like, say, a Michigan to a New York, right? The culture is different. The amount of people is different.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, the attitude, everything, the pace, everything about it is completely contradictory to what I knew. So I was kind of, thrust into that. On top of that, I didn't have the, I'm going to say the ability to even try to build a life on my own there, in the sense that I wasn't going to be working on my home because I lived in a hotel, and I wasn't going to get to have oh, these are going to be my lifelong friends, because reality is that in 6 months I most likely will never see these people again. So I was kind of caught in that middle ground, but what happened is that with each project and as each experience kind of led to the next one, I grew more and more emboldened, if that's the right word I'm thinking of here. And what I would do is that from the start of it, I was like that. I would go to work, come home, maybe take a shower or do a workout or whatever, and then go to sleep. Then as time went on, I was like, no, you know what? This weekend, I want to go do something. And then it was like, you know what? Why not go out to the bar and have a beer with my coworker? Or what I should do is, while I'm here, plan this weekend. One weekend, I'm going to go to a ball game. The next weekend, I'm going to climb a mountain. And I got to the point where I went on just a 2-week project, and during that 2-week project, the one day I had off, I drove to a mountain and climbed it just because I could. And I was like, yes! I'm like, I am a human being able to interact with the world, with the world, with the world, with the world. And I don't know. I mean, you guys know I'm a creature of habit. I'm a homebody. But I guess the world has a funny way of forcing you into situations that are uncomfortable that make you grow. And
so even though they weren't all social things, you kind of learned to enjoy your own company, it sounds like.
Oh, I had to enjoy my own company. If I didn't enjoy myself, then seriously, the thing is that when you're alone and and you have, aside from work interaction, really no interaction, like Craig was saying, you could theoretically go nuts just being in your own head. My biggest fear, this is true, hand to God, my biggest fear on all those trips was not getting lost. It was not getting in sort of trouble. It was choking on food in my hotel room. That was
because no one would be there to help
for
you
a week. They wouldn't find my body for over a week, so I would only have them clean the room once, on Fridays, and that's it. So realistically, no one would find my body for a full week, and I realized no one could save me. No one, and that's a kind of a creepy thing, but it's a kind of a reality that I had to face. I was like, oh God, I should probably like get off the road and start like living a life and, you know, maybe meet a girl who's good at the Heimlich. Like that might be a thing I need to do in my life. Like,
oh, it's like gotta meet a girl that's good at the Heimlich.
Yeah. I'm like, interesting.
That's the checklist.
Well, basically I'm like, okay, are you good at, it's like, yes, CPR. It's like, is that an innuendo? No, I need to know. Like, are you certified?
If not, we need to send you to a course right now.
Exactly. It's like, instead of some people get a prenup, that's what I get.
CPR certification.
But how about you, Michelle? What was it like for you on that one?
So mine's pretty similar to Craig. So I had literally one friend out here, Michael, the one that I moved in with. And the only other person, and I say this very loosely, that I can say that I knew was the woman who was going to become my boss, because I'd had a phone interview with her when I was transferring to make sure that like I would be a good fit for the store. And, you know, all it was just a few basic questions, like things I knew, things I didn't know, and you know, just a, hey, like, call me when you actually move out here in case, like, you bail. That way I'm not, like, counting on you beforehand.
Oh, okay.
So I knew Michael, and I knew this woman's name and voice, and that's it. I didn't know anyone in the area, didn't really know anything about the area at all. It was just, like, I had the opportunity to do something new, so I was, you know, just taking it to do something new.
So you were just basically opting into like everything you could, just like to essentially occupy yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, and I was just like, I really had no idea like what adults like do with their lives, because like obviously like growing up in school, like that's how you make friends, and then in college, like you know you have your classmates and that's how you make friends. And I had some friends at work, and I'm like, but outside of work, like how do adults make friends?
They don't.
Because I'm not a big like bar or club person. Even when I did drink, like that just wasn't really my thing. So I was just like, I was just kind of like, shit, like what do I do? So I actually like, I started joining online dating sites, not necessarily to date, but just to have a way to meet people that weren't coworkers.
Wait. So you were trying to meet people not in a romantic sense on those sites? Is that a thing that they do?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought those sites were exclusively for dating.
I mean,
Michelle's like, they are. I just used them for free meals and to tease people.
no, like it was just kind of like, I mean, I made my position very good, like on my profile. And I mean, I did happen to actually get into 2 relationships because of that. But that wasn't like my intent when I went on there. I was pretty much like, hey, like, I don't know anybody. I, you know, like to do this, and I'm just kind of looking for friends, and I really don't know how to meet people.
Interesting.
Oh, that's genius, because I sat here like an asshole and just did speed runs of Halo. That's like what I did to take my mind off. It took me a while to come to that conclusion, though. It took me a while to figure out, like, hey, maybe that's like a way I can do it, because then like you're talking beforehand and stuff too.
Yeah. Because you get that online interaction.
Met, like everybody that was messaging me, like I only met a handful of them.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
I did eventually like make friends with coworkers and stuff too. But I mean, still like outside of John and Michael, my only friends here are still pretty much my coworkers.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, but it's just interesting that you were able to use the internet and like, you know, those sort of things in that way, because as I said, I would never have gone to that, and not because I think it's bad. I think just because I would never have thought of it. I mean, realistically, whenever I hear the word dating site in my head, like it conjures a specific image of what those dating sites are, which is, you know, to be a dating site. But in your thing there, you used it to make friends, which I think is actually a pretty, you know, guys, maybe we should not do this podcast or put this one out there because I'm about to drop $1 billion idea on you. And that is basically, and you've heard of OkCupid. This is just called OK Buddy. And it's literally just a dating site, essentially, but for
honestly,
buddies.
Like, I think that's a really good idea because, and I know other people in this situation too for various reasons. You know, they've lost friends or whatever, you know, it is. They're just like, I'm out of school, I'm grown up, I don't know how to socialize without like already knowing people through other things.
Well, yeah, I mean, but imagine this. Okay, hold on. I want to draw you a picture of my profile. You ready for this, Craig? Let's see if you'd click on this. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Hi. Extraordinarily late 20s. Teetering on 30. It's like seeking similar aged individual to hang with. Must be fan of video games.
Ghostbusters.
Video games. Get pop culture references. Have a soft spot for Dan Aykroyd. It's a bonus if you play D&D. It's a big fan of Tolkien.
You got to put it +2 to friendship if fan of D&D.
Oh my god! Like just literally, I'm kind of picturing it now. It's if you want to be my Chewie, it's a go ahead and give me a call. And my profile picture is me as Han Solo, of course, just to make it, you know, like
you as Han Solo giving finger guns.
Yeah. Like would you? I mean, let's be honest. You'd click on that.
Oh, I totally click on that.
All right, I'm kind of curious, Michelle. What would yours say if you were to sell this one? Different from your real one, of course.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, so you're in the camp of we should really not promote this podcast. We should just keep this one for ourselves. Okay, buddy.
Hold on, I can give you my profile. So basically, it's going to come off and say the same thing, like, "Hey,
hey,
looking for a good friend to play games with. Must be able to get sub 130 on all Halos 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh.
Willing to work with that number to get you there.
willing to learn and take direction.
Also, wouldn't mind if you would main Reinhardt."
Oh my god! I was just about to say, it's like, do not apply if you main any offensive class. It's in Overwatch. Oh my god!
That'd be the rough of it.
Yeah.
Also, bonus if you play Dark Souls 3 / Rocket League / NHL 17.
Oh my god!
See, I did the dumb thing immediately when I got down here, and I was like, "Hey, this is pretty boring." And I was like, "You know what I should do? Propose to somebody." And that's how I solved my loneliness.
Wait. Wait. All right. I know that was
Craig's relationship sounds so dumbed down.
That's what I was getting at. I'm like, wait, like,
Sarah somebody and just was like, "Hey, you want to marry me?"
Well, Sarah still doesn't listen to this podcast, right?
No.
Okay.
No, that's why I say it. I eventually am thinking she's going to come down here and
divorce you,
slap me for something I say, but I don't think she pays attention. So I get more and more brash with how I say that every single time, and waiting for someone to say something to me.
In my head, she hears it every time, and she just grinds up a little bit more glass into your mac and cheese every time, and you're always like, God, I don't know why my bowels have had these issues lately. I don't know, weirdest thing.
Why does this mac and cheese taste like Clorox?
It's new recipe. It's part of the bleach category.
It's part of the clean eating.
Oh my god.
Oh, that makes me happy.
But so I guess, you know, our main topic today was talking about, you know, big life events. It really focused mainly on moves. But does anybody have any other big life events aside from moving that really? I guess the right way to say it is, does anybody have anything else that is like a life-changing event that really shook them to the core?
I think the closest thing for me would be actually what I was just talking about, getting married. That was probably one of the ones that would be bigger life events, it's definitely going to be. It's going to probably end up being top 5, I would assume. Unless if all of a sudden we have like 94 kids and it kind of pops that out. But then again, at that point, you can just say having children was, a big life event. But yeah, I guess for me, getting married was one of them. Which is really funny because now I'm going to say something completely contradictory to what I was saying earlier, or at least the sentiment is going to be contradictory. It's really hard for me to live with people for a long period of time without getting sick of them. Like Brian, there was definitely times I was like, I need to get out of here.
Oh yeah.
I can't take being with you very long. And I mean, it's not to say that those don't happen like between Sarah and I. There's times where I'm like, I just want to sit down and not listen to her talk for like 3 minutes would be perfect. But I was really surprised because there'd be times, like living with Burke in college, I'd get sick of him and be like, I just want to get away for like a week and not have to deal with him. Brian, with you, same thing. It's like, I got to get away from him for like 5 days and just us not talk, us not do anything. But it's a lot funnier how like, it's just not as long. You'd be like, okay, well, I can go without you for about a day. Granted, we've only been married for we're coming up on 2 years now. So it's not like we're really that far into things, but I haven't gotten sick of her yet. That's what I'm trying to say.
The most romantic thing he's ever said to her. It's
I haven't gotten sick of you.
It's
Yes.
like the wedding vows. He's like, I understand the groom's prepared his own vows. Yes, I haven't gotten sick of you yet. I'm lonely. It's like, why don't you move down south?
Well, my vows both of our vows did involve baseball though.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. It was basically like in sickness and in health, through this and that, and like it's basically like through the bad and the good. And then I impromptu added however that it was worded to us, left it open for interpretation at the end of the sentence of saying like through bad. And you could add words to the end of that sentence and make it something else. So I said through bad baseball seasons.
Gotcha.
And the words were and baseball, and it fit in. I don't remember the exact wording of how it was, but it worked really well, and I got laughs out of everybody, so I was pretty happy about that.
And which on my wedding day, that's what I was going for.
Well, and then when Sarah went through and did her vows, like she did the same exact section. It's literally the last section of the repeat after me type stuff. Mm-hmm. And they finished it, and I sat there and looked at her, and then I like wide-eyed like, and she's like, and baseball.
I like how you guilt tripped your at the time fiance into doing that on the wedding day, which is supposed to be the most quote unquote magical day of her life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, how it works.
I think mine was buying my first new car.
Ooh,
that would be my other one, which I only did in 2015. So.
Still, hey, that is a big one. Honestly, buying a new car is not something people get to do very often.
Yeah,
I still haven't done that.
I was just like, I'd always had used cars, and I was sick of it because it was like 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the road within a very what I consider short period of time. Like it would be problems and money pits and investments, and I'm just like, I got so sick of it. I was like, no, I'm going to buy a brand new car.
You said money pit, and my brain went to the curse of Oak Island. Sorry,
it didn't go to Scrooge McDuck diving into his vault.
Excuse me, Scrooge McDuck diving into that money pit vault is not just a childhood dream for me. That is an adult dream that I have. I'm like, oh my god, I know it's not real, and you break your neck, blah blah blah. Thank you, science, for ruining that dream. But still. I think that my biggest event had to be the moment where I dove into my gold pit for the first time. It was the moment I knew. No, I mean, realistically, every time I moved, it felt like I had to start over again. Like I was hitting a reset button on my life, And I just recently, like, I don't know if it's considered the event, but it's a big event for me. Is that I have my first job right now that is an actual, like, I want to call it potential career job. Like it's not for guarantee by any stretch. This, but the point is that this is the first time I've ever paid money into a 401k in my life. Like this is the first time I've ever had any sort of money going into, like, they're like, oh, you actually might have a long-term future. And I'm like, huh? Like up to this point, it's been live for the
What's
day.
that?
Well, that's just it. It's been, I mean, yes, I save all my money, and I know that's the joke, but at the same time, I save my money because, like, I never had the mental thought of like, oh, someone else will take care of me, or oh, in the long run, whatever. I'm like, no, I'm the squirrel going, literally, if I don't put these nuts in this tree, I'm going to die this winter. And so like this is the first time they're like, oh, and you get benefits, and I'm like, what? Benefits? And they're like, yeah, and it's like basic, bare minimum level, but still like I don't have to pay for my own for the first time in my entire life. And I'm like, wow, this must be what like adults feel like. Like it's blowing my mind. So that.
All I can say is, adulting's just not as fun as you'd
It's
always
not.
hoped it would be when you were younger.
If
You're
you
like, I
are
can't wait to
under
be an
18
adult.
listening to this podcast, freeze time.
Please stay as long as you can.
Billy Madison?
Stay. Like,
For
don't
sure.
even when you do go over 18, like, you think it's like such a rush and stuff. And if there's one thing that I could change, I try not to, live in the past or have regrets. But if there's one thing I could change, it would be like not moving as quickly as I did, because I left home at 18 to go to school. And I wish with all of my heart that I never would have done that.
Yep. I moved and realized the same thing, and I pieced out from where I was and moved back. I was like, nope, this isn't
See, I
what I'm
didn't.
wanting.
I was a stubborn asshole who's like, nope, I'm just gonna trudge through this, and I wish I wouldn't have.
I had completely different reasons for it, but I definitely moved for my own reasons. But speaking of moving, I want to ask you guys some questions that involve moving, if that's all right.
Ooh. I'm good
So,
with that.
I made a quiz, and I was doing it over major life events, and I categorized like 4 or 5 different things, and every single one of the most interesting ones were all about moving, or at least the ones I thought were about moving were the interesting ones. So this quiz ended up being just about moving.
Yay! And say
Woo!
Burke can't be a part of this one because he just did it, so he have like too close of knowledge.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of hoping for, where some of it would be kind of fun to see his thought process on it. But you guys ready?
Yes.
All right. So what is the number one reason why people move? Brian and then Michelle.
I'm gonna guess work.
I am also going to say work.
It is work. It is 46% of the reason why people move. Now, if any of you ask me where I got these numbers, I got them from certain websites. And if they're wrong, then it's their fault. I'm just communicating it falsely.
Okay.
If you want to argue with me on any of these numbers, feel free. I'm not going to argue back. I'm going to point you to them. So number 2, the average interstate shipment is 6,900 pounds in terms of moving, equivalent to how many of this fruit, or equivalent to, not how many, excuse me, equivalent to, crap, I messed up the question, but basically it's a lot of one fruit. And I completely borked this question.
Okay.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, mainly
I am too, 'cause I wrote it wrong.
because if you tell me the amount, like literally any amount of any fruit,
345. 345 of this fruit.
Okay, there you go. I'm gonna say it's 345 watermelons.
But technically, it is a vegetable, as we learned in the food podcast. But Brian says watermelon. Okay,
Oh, I
Michelle.
already
Pumpkin.
guessed.
Burke says pumpkin. It is watermelon.
Wait, did you say Burke?
Yeah.
I remember when I did the food quiz.
I know. Did
I
you
was
say Burke says pumpkin?
Yes, he did. He said
Did
Burke.
I?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at it. Burke got it wrong. Michelle said watermelon. Point. No, I was looking at the Burke because I have Burke's name written down just in case he was able to make it. And he wasn't, so I falsely have that in there. Number 3, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, what is the most likely reason picked for the new location of the home that they're moving to?
Good schools.
I'm gonna say the yard.
Yard. I'm going to go with neither one of you were right. It is the convenience for their job.
Wow.
That is they picked it based on location for their job. Maybe not necessarily, closest to the office, but somehow it was the most convenient for their job, them to live there. So no points there. Okay, so this question is going to be, I thought this was going to be the most confusing question, but since I miswrote the one above, this one now becomes the second most confusing, and I don't know how to word it, so we'll work through this one. The number of times that an average individual moves in their lifetime is higher than what I would have thought. This number would make one of our podcast hosts very happy. Which host am I talking about?
Oh, God. I'm going to guess Craig and say it's 11.
Same.
It is 11.
Oh, God.
It was technically 11.7, but I was like, I'm rounding it down to 11. But basically,
How do you move 0.7 times?
Easy. But yeah, people move roughly 11 or 12 times. The average is 11 or 12 times in their lifetime in the US. I thought that was pretty high.
Is
I
that
feel like it is, but at the same time, I wonder if it's also considering like home to a dorm to an apartment to a different apartment to a house. Like, I have to wonder like what's included in quote unquote moving.
And
Well,
I'm wondering if there's
that's what I'm-
overlap too between, like, let's just say like your parents move and take you with them. Does that count as one of your
I think
moves?
it does. I think it does. Like anytime that you have lived in one location, then you went and lived, not like I worked there for 6 months, Brian. Like I don't consider you moving all that time.
Right. No, I understand.
Like for me, or for you, Brian, like I would say you moved once when you were 5 to the house that your parents are in now, right? Or not 5, but close to.
Yeah, 4
2 or something
whatever.
like that. 4, close enough. And then you moved into Lansing with me, and then to Grand Blanc, and then back again. So now that's like what, 4 for you, right?
Sure.
Ish. And so that's what I was saying. I was going through, like, I moved technically twice when I was a kid. Moved, if you count college, that goes to, okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. I moved back 4. And then 5 out to Lansing, 6 to Grand Blanc, and then 7 down to here. So I guess that makes sense because I'm assuming probably there'll be, 2 or 3 more moves in my lifetime. So I'll get pretty close there.
You
And I guess
heard it
you get
here
the-
first. He's coming to Michigan, folks.
And
So yeah, because I'm assuming
my
her.
biological father had an obsession with moving or something. And so even though I didn't live with him, like when I had to visit, every 2 years, pretty much he was in a new place, and
Right.
they moved a lot when I was little. So I'm pretty sure, like, if I count all of those plus moves I have made, I'm pretty sure I'm up in the 20s.
Oh yeah, so I guess that makes sense. It seemed high for me at the time, but I
Michelle's
guess
ruining
yeah.
our average.
Damn it, Michelle.
I'm the 0.7.
All right, number 5. Are you more likely to live in a different state than from where you went to college? Or are you more likely to live in a different state from where you graduated from high school? Or is it the same?
Oh.
I'm kind of confused.
So are you more likely to live in, let's just say,
Is this question assuming you go to college out of state, though?
no, it's assuming, it doesn't assume that at all. It's just if you happen to go to college in the same state, then it would be part of one. But are you more likely to live in a different state from where you graduated from college, or are you more likely to live in a different state from where you graduated from high school?
High school.
I'm actually going to say college.
It is high school at 35%.
Yeah, see,
So you're 35% likely to live in a different school or live in a different state than where you graduated from high school. You're 30% chance of living in a different state from when you graduated from college.
people have this weird affinity for their college towns. Like, I don't get it at all, but some people are like, oh man, my alma mater matters. And I'm like, college matter? Like, I don't know. I just never understood it.
Okay, number 6. Moving is considered on some scales the third highest, most stressful event in a lifetime. What are the 2 events that it follows? I'll give a point for each.
The 2 events that are more stressful than moving.
Yes, number 3 is moving. What are number 1 and 2?
Buying a house and having a kid.
I'm going to say buying a house and your wedding.
Both of you get 0 points. It is death and divorce are the more stressful.
People are going in
things.
serious directions.
What?
Oh, yeah. Those are the more stressful life events.
I mean, it makes sense, but
A lot of the divorced people I know are very happy.
Just saying.
it's still like an arduous process.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of people you know that are very happy, but that's in from the people that you've seen. I'm sure there's quite a few other people that are going through divorce that they did not want to go through divorce.
And it's probably all the stuff leading up to it, even if like they are happier afterward.
All the thing going through it. Yep. Granted, that was one. A lot of people said the third, but there was like 3 or 4 of them that said it was the 32nd most stressful life event, and that moving's not stressful at all. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to do the question that's what are the 31 that precede it. So we'll go with this one. Number 7, according to Mayflower, which is a moving truck company that specializes in doing like big, like semi-sized moving trucks, right? The really big
they're
ones.
the ones that ship all the pilgrims.
Yes, exactly. According to them, what is the average distance a family moves when they're using their service?
Oh, damn.
Hold on. You have
okay.
choices.
Oh, okay.
0, and this is all in miles. 0 to 200, 200 to 500, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500, 1,500 to 2,000, or 2,000 plus.
The second one that
so the 200 to 500 miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say the third one.
Which is the 500 to 1,000 miles.
Yes.
You are both incorrect. It is 1,100 miles is what the number was for their service.
1,000.
So that is the equivalent of, I think actually I use this in a question later, so I can't say it. If it's not, I'll come back and say it later. Okay, what is the average cost of an interstate move for the US? Is it 0 to 2,500, 2,500 to 5,000, 5,000 to 7,500, 7,500 to 10,000, or 10,000 plus?
What's included in this?
I do not have
like
more
obviously
information
like
on
not the place to live because the numbers are too low, but I'm wondering, is it like, okay, all right.
Usually these types of companies that are doing interstate moves, when they do it, they are going to pick up all the stuff from your house and pack it into the truck. They are going to drive the truck there, and they are going to help you unpack it as well when they're there.
Okay. I'm going to guess the second to last one for the highest amount there, the 7,000 to whatever.
7,500 to 10,000.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess over 10,000.
It is $10,000 plus dollars.
I figured it was, but I was like, maybe like,
that is just so much money. Like, obviously it's with people that have a lot more stuff, but it did not cost me nearly that amount to move. I mean, we did the truck ourselves, and it was only a apartment moving into a house. But
no, when my parents moved, it cost them that.
Really? Wow, that's insane. For us, it was like $1,000, maybe max, or something like that.
It almost makes me wonder why people aren't just like, all right, sell all this shit and get new when you get there.
Yeah, because you're basically doing that. All right, number 9. What is the most popular season to move?
Ooh, it's got to be spring.
I'm going to say summer.
It is summer.
Damn.
Michelle coming back from a little deficit there, back up to 4-4 between you two. So it's a tie game right now.
It's too stressful.
Heading into the second half. What is just as a side note, August is the most moved month. What is the most popular day of the week to move?
Most popular day of the week?
Sunday through Saturday. Which one of those days?
Friday.
All right.
Saturday.
It is Friday. Friday is the most popular day to move. All right. So this one's going to be a multiple choice, so you don't have to try and come up with it on your own. But there is one county to county move in the country that is far above any other one. What county? The county they're moving from is from Los Angeles County. What county are they going to? Is it San Bernardino County, Orange County, Santa Clara County, which is Palo Alto, or San Mateo County, which is San Francisco?
I want to say Orange County.
Okay.
I'm going to say San Mateo.
It is technically San Bernardino and Orange County. They were
California.
they were tied, and everything else was like way below it. But that is the biggest one is Los Angeles County to
In terms
either
of what, just number of people moving?
number of people moving from one to the other. So they obviously have a ton of people, which helps out with that. So it's not based on percentages; it's just based on mass.
For those of you counting at home, that was 2 questions back to back, one in which I did a sick Timely Friday reference, and that was a Orange County reference. So I'd say I'm just really hitting all the new age stuff for you kids out there.
All right. I skipped over this accidentally, but what is the least popular day to move?
Tuesday.
I'm going to say Monday.
It is Monday. Monday is the least popular day to move. Those were supposed to be back to back, the most and least. But when I scrolled down, since they're very close in what they say, I must have just blanked it.
California.
Number 13. What is the most popular state to move out of?
Ohio.
While I believe you in spirit, it is actually California. And again, not based on percentages, based on numbers
Just a
alone.
number.
Yep, just so many people leaving out of there. What is the most popular state to move to?
New York.
Florida.
It is Florida.
Oh,
Florida has the numbers
damn.
of people moving to it. Oh man, Michelle brings it back, tied 6-6.
This is too stressful.
Here's a chance for 3 points if you can get these. What are the top 3 cities that people move to?
Top 3 cities.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go New York. We're going to go Chicago. And we're going to go to Los Angeles.
I am going to say Orlando, Miami, and New York.
Brian gets 1, Michelle gets 0. The top 3 are Chicago, Austin, Texas, and Houston, Texas.
Wow. Everyone's clamoring to get into Texas there, and Burke's leaving.
Burke pieced out.
Yeah, Burke's like, to hell with this.
Okay, and number 16, what are the top 3 cities people move out of?
I'm trying to think of 3 cities in Ohio.
Columbus, Akron, and Cleveland.
I'm going to say New York.
Okay.
I'm going to say Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Columbus.
Columbus. Okay. Michelle?
I am going to say Los Angeles,
Okay.
Philadelphia,
Okay.
and Detroit.
Neither one of you get any points on those. The top 3, the first 2 kind of make me giggle because it's Chicago and Houston. So that's just a flow of people going in and out.
They just have the highest number moving in and out.
Yeah, just people are moving in and out of those 2 places.
Turnover.
And the last one is Las Vegas.
You know,
Las
I
Vegas.
almost said that too.
Yep, Las
Really?
Vegas.
I would never
I did.
guess that.
Because I feel like people think it's going to be great to live there, and then they get there and they're like, eh.
And people
Who
that are
thinks it's
living
going to
there,
be great to live there?
people that have that type of lifestyle. Number 17, Allied Moving Company. Again, kind of like Mayflower, big moving company. They like doing the big stuff. They have a piece of data they released, which is the longest move by truck that they've ever done. It was from Tucson, Arizona to St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. This move was 68 hours long in the truck alone. How many work days did this take? 1 to 5, 5 to 10, or 10 to 15?
5 to 10.
I'm going to say 10 to 15.
It was 8.5 days, so 5 to 10 days.
Woo!
It was an 8.5 work days just to move this one couple from Arizona to Canada.
I mean, yeah, but they probably paid him like, a ton of money.
Sure.
So.
I'm sure that 10,000 plus was well within there.
Oh
number.
yeah. I think
That was
unless
their gas budget.
what if the oh god, I wonder if the company like if they had like a once you go beyond this distance, it's just one flat rate. They're like, cool.
We're doing that. Number 18, around 43 million people move each year in the US. That is 4 times as many people that visit which rodent-infested theme park? and I do want the specific one.
Well, it's a Disney World, and I'm gonna say Disney World in the California one.
Okay, so that'd be called Disneyland.
Whatever, that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
I don't know what the fancy names.
I was also gonna say Disneyland in California.
It is Disneyland. It is the California one.
I had no idea that there was a difference in the names.
Disney World, Disneyland. Disneyland's in California. Disney World's in Orlando.
I literally thought they were called the same thing.
Nope. Number 19. How many people live in the same state they were born in? 0 to 25%, 25 to 50%, 50 to 75%, or 75 to 100?
50 to 75. I want to say there's a lot of homebodies.
I'm also gonna say that just actually based on your previous thing where about 30 to 35% left from their high schools and college. So I'm gonna say the 50 to 70.
Those are both very good logic because it's 62%.
There it is.
All right. Number 20. We're down to our last two questions here. Which state has the lowest amount of people that live in it currently, and that's the state they were born? If I Englished that correctly.
So it has the lowest population
Of people that were actually born there. More people.
Okay.
This state has more people leave after they're born than any other state.
Okay.
I mean, more people. Well, I guess I'll say California because you were saying there was an exodus out of there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say California too, just based off the numbers.
Oddly enough, it is not California. It is Florida.
Rhode Island?
It is Florida.
Oh, no.
Florida has the most natural born people leave. California still has enough people going in because there's a ton of people still moving there, but there's a lot of people moving out of there at the same time that gives them the title of, so many people move out of this state. But in terms of people that were born there and then don't reside there anymore, the top one is Florida.
That's because California still has those Arnold commercials, the travel ones. They're like, when can you start? Come on.
California.
California.
All right. The last question. Which of these groups move the least and which one moves the most? The groups are the Northeast, the South, the Midwest, and the West. Which
the Midwest and the West is what you
yep,
okay.
So Midwest, think of like Michigan and Western.
Yeah. I'm with you. And you say by move, you're referring to just like any move, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna say the West.
Not moving like the group to group, just like they can move down the street. That's counted as a move. So the West is what? The most or the least? You have to name both.
Is the most.
The West
and
is the
I
most.
Think,
okay.
Yep, and I think that the South is the least.
Okay.
I'm also going to say that the South is the least, but I'm going to say that the Midwest is the most.
So the tally on this is the West is the most moved.
Yes.
And the Northeast is the least moved group out of those. The Northeast moves the least amount.
Damn New Englanders.
I guess they find a place, they hunker down, they stay there. They don't want to go out in the cold.
Would you leave, like, it would say a place like Maine that has like perfect snow crabs and everything? I'm like, oh god, California.
All right, so that brings us to a total of Brian with the win with 11 points, and Michelle has 8 points.
Well, I mean, all I can say is California. God damn it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There were so many other, I was looking through and like, major life events. What could I do? And then so I'm looking up like, having a baby, getting married, changing jobs. Changing jobs was the worst. It was like, did you know that 62% of applications looked at are negated by a computer? Did you know that recruiters spend 5 to 7 seconds looking at a resume on average? I'm like, these are boring. I found these other ones. I mean, even though these weren't like the holy crap most amazing, I found these a lot more entertaining than a lot of the other ones. Oh, did you know the average baby size is this? I was like, okay, I guess I'll go with that.
Save that one. Save that one for a future podcast when we have a whole. I'm sure at some point we'll have a talk about kids one.
Sure we will.
And at that point, it's whoever's the first one of us to have kids will be the one who got dunked on.
California, California, here we come.